It's years behind schedule and tens of billions of dollars over budget, but oil is now flowing through the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, which the federal government bought in 2018.
April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again.
What happens when the neighbor you've trusted for 80 years suddenly walks away? Not a rival, not a stranger. Canada, our most reliable energy ally, has just made a bold shift, redirecting its oil exports away from the United States and toward Europe. And not slowly, not quietly, but with full confidence and a clear message. We don't need America like we used to. Meanwhile, Europe is cheering. US officials? Silent, or worse, pretending it's no big deal. But let's be honest, this isn't just another trade decision. This is a warning sign. A shift in global energy power, happening right in our backyard. So, what caused this? Who's really to blame? And what does it mean for your future and America's role in the world? Let's break it down, piece by piece. What if I told you that barrels of Canadian oil once bound for Texas are now fueling Europe's future? Since the EU banned Russian oil, Canada has rapidly increased its exports to Germany, the Netherlands, and France. These are not trial runs. These are long-term energy shipments. Real volume, real money. And while the US used to enjoy preferred access to Canada's oil at discounted rates, that's over. Now, Canada is selling to Europe at full market price. And they're getting something else the US no longer offers: respect. One Canadian comment said it best: "Why sell cheap to the US when Europe pays full price and respects us?" This isn't just trade diversification, it's a declaration of independence. A message from Canada: we won't be underpriced. And we won't be overlooked. And what's Washington doing while this plays out? Watching and wondering how the closest energy alliance in North America started slipping through its fingers. But the real question is, why did Canada walk away? That's next, and the answer might hit harder than you think. Why is Canada backing away? Why now, and why so quietly? It didn't happen overnight. This shift started years ago, quietly, steadily, and no one in Washington took it seriously. First came the tariffs. Steel, aluminum, lumber. Under the Trump administration, Canada got slapped with penalties usually reserved for hostile powers. And what did that signal? You're not an ally, you're a competitor. Figure it out yourself. Then came Biden, with a different tone, but the same message. Keystone XL, cancelled. One of Canada's biggest cross-border oil projects, dead on arrival. Billions in investment, gone. No negotiation, no warning, just politics. And while Americans debated, Canada decided. As one commenter put it, Trump woke us up. It's time we stop depending on one buyer. Canada didn't walk away out of spite. They walked because they had to. Because depending on the US meant being stuck, underpriced, undervalued. Europe pays full price. Europe doesn't play games with pipelines. And Canada? They've finally had enough. But while Canada is diversifying its oil exports, Americans are facing a new kind of pain, right at home. The next part? It's personal, because you might be the one paying the price. What happens when your closest energy partner turns to someone else? You pay the price. Literally, gas prices are already crushing American families. One viewer said it best: "Gas is already killing my budget." And now we're losing Canada? Think about it. Canada was our oil cushion, our safety valve. When prices surged globally, Canadian oil kept things stable, affordable, reliable. Now, that cushion is gone. With more oil heading to Europe, the US becomes more dependent on unstable, foreign sources. And that means more volatility, more risk, and yes, higher prices at the pump. But it doesn't stop at gas. Shipping costs go up, grocery bills rise. Heating your home this winter? Prepare to pay. This isn't just a geopolitical shift. It's a pocketbook disaster, unfolding in real time. And worst of all, Washington seems more interested in playing blame games than protecting your bottom line. You lose a partner like Canada, you lose control. And now everyday Americans are the ones footing the bill. But this isn't just about money. It's about power, who has it, and who's losing it. Because as the US loses its grip, another force is quietly stepping in. And that takes us to the next chapter, where the real balance of power is shifting. Fast. What does Europe gain when America loses its grip? Right now, the EU is rising, not just as a market, but as a power player in global energy. And while the US fumbles, Canada is signing long-term energy deals with European nations. We're not talking short-term shipments. We're talking 10 to 15-year agreements, serious commitments that redefine alliances. This isn't just about oil. It's about influence. And right now, the US is losing it. Europe isn't just filling a gap. It's taking the lead. Germany, France, the Netherlands, they're locking in access to Canada's natural resources, and forging relationships that used to be ours. A German viewer said it best, "We love Canadians. We share values. They belong with us more than with the US." Let that sink in. It's not just pipelines being redirected. It's loyalty. It's trust. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back easily. The US spent decades building its reputation as the backbone of the free world. Now, that reputation is fading. Quietly, steadily, fatally. And if we don't realize what we're losing, someone else will claim it. But is this just a one-time shift, or are we watching the start of a whole new order? That's next. And it's bigger than anyone expected. Is this just a moment, or the beginning of something much bigger? This shift, Canada turning toward Europe, might look like a one-off deal. But look closer, and you'll see it's part of a larger pattern. A global realignment that's been quietly unfolding for years. Why now? Because the last 5 years in America have been chaos. From trade wars, to pipeline cancellations, to political instability, all of it sent one loud message to our allies: you're on your own. So they believed us, and they started moving on. Canada is now expanding not just into Europe, but into Asia too. They're building new pipelines, signing new deals, and doing something America used to do best, thinking long-term. Meanwhile, allies and competitors alike are watching, adjusting, and rearranging the map. A US expat living in Europe summed it up with brutal honesty. It hurts to say, but the world doesn't wait for America anymore. And he's right. The age of America at the center of everything? That age might be over. What we're seeing isn't just a trade shift. It's a signal. A new energy order is being drawn, and this time, it doesn't revolve around Washington. So the next question becomes clear. Can the US win back what it's losing? Or is it already too late? Can the US fix this? Can we repair a partnership that once seemed unbreakable? The answer is yes, but only if we act and act fast. Because here's the truth. America has spent far too long assuming it would always be the center of the energy world. That allies like Canada would wait around, no matter what. But the world doesn't work that way anymore. To rebuild trust, we need more than talk. We need a stable, long-term energy policy, not one that swings wildly every 4 years. We need to treat Canada as an equal partner, not a backup plan. We need leaders who see beyond the next election, and understand the price of broken alliances. This isn't about left or right. It's about whether the US can still lead. Because the longer we delay, the more ground we lose, to Europe, to China, to whoever steps up next. One Canadian viewer put it bluntly: respect us, or we'll do business with those who will. That's not a threat, that's a fact. But there's still time. If America's ready to step up, with clarity, with consistency, with respect, this relationship can be saved. The only question is, do we even want to? Because if we don't move now, we may not get another chance. And what comes next will define more than trade. It will define who we are. So what did we just uncover? This shift in oil exports, Canada turning toward Europe, is about way more than energy. It's about broken trust. It's about the price of ignoring your closest ally. And it's about what happens when the world no longer waits for America. We saw how unstable energy policy, political games, and short-term thinking pushed Canada to diversify. We saw how the EU stepped in, not just as a buyer, but as a new partner. And we saw how Americans, regular people, not politicians, are now paying the price through higher gas, heating, and food costs. This isn't just about oil. It's about leadership. And the question now isn't, why did this happen? It's, what will the US do next? Will we fight to rebuild trust? Or will we keep assuming the world revolves around us, even as it moves on? Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Canada was right to walk away, or did America push them out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a real conversation, not a partisan shouting match. And if this video hit something real, if it made you think, or feel something they don't talk about on cable news, then like, share, and subscribe. Because this channel, it's not just for news. It's for truth, and that starts with you.